This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Adori. I'm your host, covering everything sport, international and local. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope you are having a blessed day wherever you're tuned in around the world, whether it's 95 FM, pulse95radio.com, our app, Sharjah Broadcasting Authority, or even if you're chilling at home watching us live on YouTube. Right, okay, on the show today. Now, as fans, we all have our opinions on how our sport should be officiated. But what about those who performed at the highest level and want to now take it up as a profession? Why aren't more athletes involved in becoming referees? And we also discuss on the program, the Federation are running to fast track athletes into becoming referees because there's not that many out there. Now, it sounds much more simple than it seems, but why is that? We're going to be discussing that on the show today. Manny Pacquiao in the boxing world retires from boxing. That's right, Ray. Manny Pacquiao has retired from professional boxing. And we take a look and see why he's one of the greatest boxers out there. In other news as well, now, obviously everyone knows pre and post-COVID, the discussion has been whether players and athletes should be taking the vaccine. But recently, N'Golo Kante has been diagnosed with COVID, and so therefore he's out of the Champions League clash between Chelsea and Juventus tonight. But it's gone deeper than that. Now they're looking at the responsibilities that managers have and whether managers should be enforcing all their players to be vaccinated or not. Plenty of that and more to be discussed on the show today on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Yes, we are back and we are live in the heart of Sharjah on Pulse 95 Radio with your boy Omar Adori. Thank you very much for connecting. Okay, a couple of things we want to run by you for the hour. There's been a couple of headlines. So Manny Pacquiao has retired. That's one. We've also got this topic which I wanted to kind of get your opinion on. Now, with what's happened with COVID and everything, obviously we've had some sort of normality resumed in stadiums around the world. And some of the players in the teams that represent all the sports that you watch have been vaccinated and some of them haven't. Now, it is a kind of a touchy subject, so we're going to try and be careful with this because it's quite sensitive. But because some players are being tested now and getting COVID, is it the manager or the coach's job to ensure they get vaccinated, or should they kind of mind their own business and just kind of take the risk? Now, that's one thing which has happened because one of the best players in the world, N'Golo Kante, has just been tested for COVID and unfortunately has got the virus now. But when his manager was asked, Thomas Tuchel is one of the best managers in the world, are your players vaccinated? He said, I have enough on my plate at the moment now. I am a father. I am a man who is responsible for a lot of things, but I couldn't tell you the percentage of players vaccinated. Now, this has caused uproar on social media and all around the world, and that is the question I'm asking you guys today. Should managers or the hierarchy of these sports clubs enforce their players to be vaccinated to avoid COVID-19? Now, for those who have got COVID, like myself, etc., you kind of know what the process is and the fact that you have to isolate and be careful and social distance and stay away from everything for 10 days. If it's your work and it's your job, should these managers be actually enforcing these actions on their players? Now, ironic that N'Golo Kante got it because 16 months ago, he actually took compassionate leave so he would avoid getting COVID. And now, 16 months later, he's actually got it. And you would think that out of a lot of the honest athletes out there, he's probably one that you wouldn't expect to be, out and about or unnecessarily out and about. So I think that's why it's caused quite a bit of uproar when it comes down to COVID-19. So I'm asking you guys, what do you guys think? And should that be enforced? It's not just football. It could be rugby. It could be basketball. It could be tennis. There's a lot of factors. I think more the team sports than anything that people will look at and say, making contact. Then the other ironic thing is sometimes when you see these athletes score or win, they celebrate with the crowd. Now, we don't know what's happening in the crowd, so where do you draw the line? So that's why the question I'm asking is, should managers, coaches, and the leaders of the sports organization enforce their own teams to be vaccinated, or should they leave it up to the players by choice? 4215 Itasalat or start up into my DMs at Omar Duri. Right now we've got Benoit who's here, Mustafa, Tashriq, Murad, Fahad, Maria, Masoud, Mustafa, I said Tashriq already, and A Harak as well. I think that's Angel, I'm not sure. Thank you very much for connecting. Shay Matt's back in the room as well. So that's the question of the day. Following N'Golo Kante being tested positive for corona, the questions were asked to his manager: do you know the percentage of players that have been vaccinated? With all these things that are happening, it's a very, very sensitive subject, and that's caused a lot of people to be talking about it. Now, there are certain teams across the world of sports who've come out and said, our players are 98% out of the squad has been vaccinated. Some people have said 100. Some people have failed to disclose those numbers. And again, rightfully so, because they don't want to share those kind of statistics. But then again, if someone hasn't been vaccinated, you come across someone who has been vaccinated, is there much threat? So there's all these questions being asked about the situation, and it's kind of causing people to really discuss this matter, because it does affect teams, which affects a lot of money, which affects standings and trophies. And thinking about if it wasn't a team, let's say like Chelsea, with the squad depth that they have, will it cost them more? And that's got me thinking a lot. Anyway, let me know what you think. 4215 Itasalat or start up into my DMs at Omar Duri and let me know. And coming up next, Manny Pacquiao retires from boxing. But what is it about Manny Pacquiao that keeps his legacy up here? We'll be talking about that and more on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of The Halftime Show, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.